Hey, it's your guy Tyrrell back with the interviews. Germany, Mexico upsetting the world champions, but how did they do it? And did Germany get it wrong? Don't worry, here at the interviews, we've got you covered. So on this edition of the interviews, I'm going to break down how Mexico got the better of Germany. Germany, Mexico, the big game of the day. Germany, the world champions, looking to defend their crown. We thought we got the shock of the tournament with Argentina tying Iceland, but this was even better. Mexico beating Germany, but how? When we break it down, we got Germany and what looked to be a 4-2-3-1. Werner just ahead of Mesut Ozil. On the flanks, Draxler and Muller. And in midfield, we had Toni Kroos and we had Sami Khedira. When we think about Mexico, more of a 4-4-2 is a bit of a surprise. We didn't know what shape they were going to be in heading into the match, but it was Javier Hernandez Chicharito just ahead of Vela. On the flanks, they had Lozano and they had Layun, and in midfield, they had Guardado and Hector Herrera. What went right? What went wrong? Well, the biggest theme of this game has to be the German shape. They got it wrong on the day. They were poor. They were blistered on the counterattack. And why was that? Well, when you look at it, you have their fullbacks high. That's obviously one issue that could be resolved. But the problem here was that Toni Kroos was the one just playing ahead of the center backs. Toni Kroos is not a defensive midfielder. He's a great ball passing midfielder, arguably the best center midfielder in the world. But for him to go up against a counter-attacking side like Mexico, not that they're a counter-attacking side, but they have pace to break in the channels, it was suicide. Sami Khedira was pushing forward. Mesut Ozil was trying to find space between the lines. Werner's your center forward. A lot of problems were basically how they were spread out was going to be an issue. And when you look at it, what was Germany's problem? Well, they got the fullbacks forward. That was great. Kroos was a bit too deep. That wasn't really a problem because you want him to pick up the ball and gradually gain control of the game. But the problem was Carlos Vela did a great job on him. Man marked him out of the game, stuck with him. Whenever Kroos was on the ball, Vela was there to press him. And that was an issue because now, with that being said, Germany lacked a creator in deeper positions. Khedira was high. He's not really much of a ball-playing midfielder. And what ended up happening was that we saw Mesut Ozil dropping into these deeper positions, trying to get on the ball, trying to make something happen. And what happened? Werner was there. Draxler was coming in. Muller was coming in. Another problem, Draxler, Muller had very poor games. Didn't really get anything going. So obviously that is going to be an issue. But Germany's biggest threat ended up being their downfall. The fact that Kimmich was able to get forward and he actually created two of their better chances. And what happened was that with Muller coming in here and Werner looking to make runs in behind into right half space, which is the space right here, that was obviously going to be an issue for Mexico. We saw it happen early on. Kimmich plays the ball into that space, Werner drags into that position, and something comes from it. Then we saw a long diagonal over the box. He's able to drag his defender with him and get a shot on goal, and that was something that looked like it could be promising for Germany, but like I said, there was a downfall to it. But when you look at what Germany were trying to do, it just didn't really make any sense because usually when teams do have balance, one fullback, especially without a center defensive midfielder, one fullback goes forward. You expect one to possibly sit a bit deeper, but they had both going forward. They had no real protection. Toni Kroos eventually got forward as they gained ascendancy of the game, and he did create some chances around the box. He forced Ochoa into a save. He had a free kick that Ochoa pushed off the crossbar. He had a few shots that went inches wide, some tame efforts on goal. So Kroos was getting forward, and with him, if you look at it from here, even with him getting forward, now look at all that space. You leave 2v2 up front, Vela and Hernandez against Hummels and Boateng, who aren't the fastest center backs, and the problem was that at times, they didn't mind if Kroos was possibly getting a bit forward and Vela was tracking him because now they had no ball-playing midfielder, and what happens? Boateng and Hummels like to get forward as well, and when they did, it was just very, very bad for them. And the thing here was that they weren't creating much, and that is down to Mexico. We'll get to Mexico just sitting deep in two banks of four, clogging space, getting tight, and when balls were pushed out to the fullbacks, Lozano was there, Layun was there. But when it wasn't in wider areas, they were tight, narrow, and it's been the theme of the tournament so far. Teams playing in 2 banks of 4, sitting compact, ensuring that no space is picked up between the lines, and Mexico played it to a T. And then you have to think about the main aspect of the game, their counterattacks. Like I said, they targeted space behind Kimmich, and that's what happened. There were countless plays where it was Hernandez breaking in, it was Lozano breaking in, Layun was pushing forward as well. They always had 2 or 3 players that were there. They were going down Kimmich's side. You think about the second half, just a simple Guardado punt in the left channel, not even behind Kimmich, the left channel, and they have a 2v1 with Vela and Hernandez breaking forward, and they somehow find a way to bottle it. Lozano obviously scores the winner, but when you break this game down to a T, Germany got it wrong, and they paid the price. Mexico was superb without the ball. They remained compact. Yes, there were some half chances. We look at the second half, deeper crosses into the box over the Mexican defense did harm them and did make them look a bit weary. We think about a Boateng chip over the box. We think about an Ozil chip over the defense. And what happens is that we had a Kimmich overhead kick. We had Werner blasting a shot inches over the net. So Germany did have their half chances, but as a whole, Mexico should have been out of sight, and that is what needs to be remembered here. They sat deep in 2 banks of 4. They clogged the space in midfield. Muller, Draxler had a bad game. Ozil couldn't really get going. What happens is even when Germany bring on the subs, Royce didn't really impact the game. Brandt came on late. Gomez came on late. They both had half chances. Brandt hit the post. But as a whole, even with Ozil a bit deeper, nothing really worked for Germany. And it's down to just being naive with their initial tactics, pushing the fullbacks forward, not having a holding midfielder or an additional midfielder like a Gundogan who could come in and sit with Kroos to ensure that at least you have more bodies in the center space so you could stop counterattacks. That didn't happen here, and Mexicans front 4, the pacey front 4, pushed forward and made Germany pay, and 1-0 really flatters them because it could have been more. So what do Germany do now? How do they respond? Who do they bring into the starting lineup? And Mexico, can they build on this? 1 more win and they'll probably win the group, which would be massive for them and could potentially set up a big game between Germany and Brazil in the round of 16. Lots of football, not that much time, but that's basically the main themes of this game, and Mexico were deserved winners. But let me know what you guys think. Meet me in the comments below. Don't forget I upload videos every day, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And that was your daily dose of the interviews.